Developing tonight, a large-scale drug crackdown leads to more than a dozen arrests across Los Angeles. Federal agents carried out raids from MacArthur Park to Calabasas this afternoon.
NBC4's Macy Jenkins joins us now with more on today's operation that involved local law enforcement, too. Macy.
Hi, Carolyn and Michael. Well, the Drug Enforcement Administration made 18 arrests today in multiple locations across Southern California. They say 2 of those people are the main suppliers of meth and fentanyl in MacArthur Park.
I don't know who to go to get help, to get her out this park.
A mother desperately scouring MacArthur Park to find her daughter hooked on drugs.
To try to get her off the streets and get her some help. I just took her to UCLA hospital and she left the hospital and came back to the park. I don't know what to do.
Her search in the backdrop of Wednesday's efforts by the Drug Enforcement Administration to rescue the park, saying it's overrun with rampant drug use, violent crime, and theft.
We are targeting the street-level dealers. We're hitting the businesses with search warrants who have been storing and stashing the drugs.
The Fed serving a total of 9 search warrants, 6 at MacArthur Park and 3 more in South LA and Calabasas. 18 arrested so far, with couple Malali Moreno Lopez and Jackson Tarfour as the 2 people they believe to be the main suppliers of meth and fentanyl at the park. Medicare and Medicaid Administrator Dr. Oz says federal efforts saved lives today.
And I'll speak for the federal government here. Medicaid will embrace these people. We care about these people. The beautiful program that you all pay tax dollars into will save these addicts.
LAPD Chief Jim McDonald says it's more than just the dealers at fault.
They're supported by and answering to criminal street gangs in the area, prison gangs, and cartels. And they're doing this right here in our backyard.
Mayor Karen Bass saying in a statement, as we work to change MacArthur Park so that it's safe and clean for families, we have zero tolerance for people who deal deadly drugs and prey on the community. One with a picturesque view, marred by dependency and despair.
This looks like a scary movie or something. This doesn't even look real.
The people arrested today will face a federal judge at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. Reporting live in downtown Los Angeles, Macy Jenkins, NBC4 News.
To all units, proceed to your post assignments. All units, proceed to your post assignments.
That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the beast.
Yeah, baby, it's episode 31 of Probable Cause on May 12th, 2026. Jeff Norman and the FBI whistleblower himself, the very bald and very lovely Greg Dillon. How are you, Greg?
I was better about 10 seconds ago, but go ahead.
What's the matter? You don't like to be called very bald? All right, partially bald.
I think you got a little bit on the side still.
All right. The partially bald Greg Dillon with us, and this is Probable Cause. So I don't know how many of y'all are y'all. I live in North Carolina now, so I talk like I'm a Southerner. I don't know how many of y'all have been following this story in Los Angeles. It's sort of a big deal, I think. Maybe it's of particular interest to me because I used to live there. But I sense the possibility of maybe a sea change. I'm among those who just got fed up with all the crime, not simply the homelessness, but how they have homeless encampments everywhere, the shoplifting, the tolerance for all this. And a lot of people are leaving LA, have left LA for that reason. But there's something about the way, I'm not there though. I would really love to talk to some people in LA, and maybe we should do that in a subsequent episode. But from just watching the coverage of this crackdown, I'm getting the sense that more than usual, there's support, even though it was kind of a heavy-handed, aggressive crackdown as far as the way the local cops and the DEA agents swept in and took everybody by surprise, and they had warrants, and they kind of smashed some of the businesses where the owners of the business weren't there. So they had search warrants, and they did, I guess, what they had to do to get in there and look. I I guess the expectation was, this is why they got the warrants, is because some of the local businesses around the perimeter of MacArthur Park were in cahoots with the drug dealers. And so a lot of the goods would be stashed in these businesses. That was the premise anyway. And, you would often, in LA, you get complaints from the locals, even when maybe people from other parts of the country who would be observing might be scratching their heads. But the way many Angelenos are, they would complain about the police brutality, or however they wanted to phrase it. They also would be looking at the people who use drugs as needing rehab and stuff, and saying they need treatment as opposed to, being arrested and having to suffer the indignity of the justice system. But I sense there's more support than usual. And a lot of that, I think, has to do with the fact that the mayoral primary is coming up. And there was just a debate with this sensation, Spencer Pratt, who is very much about cracking down on crime. And I think he has shifted the conversation somewhat. Have you been in your comfortable Connecticut suburban town? Have you, has Spencer Pratt and his campaign caught your attention at all?
Yes, he's the talk of the town, depending on where you're looking for your news, but certainly a breath of fresh air, and made a big impact on the scene in a very short amount of time.
Yeah, most people say, whether no matter who they went into preferring, most people say he won the debate handily, and the next debate
interesting goes a long way, Jeff.
Well, that's I think exactly the right assessment. When things are so crazy, even if you maybe otherwise lack the qualifications in the conventional sense, if you're just simply normal, there's the potential for you to stand out, and who knows what's going to happen.
Well, it reminds me of the story of the peasant watching the parade and says, the king has no clothes, and everyone, is agog initially, and then they all realize he's absolutely correct.
Yeah. Now, last week we had Jim, why am I spacing out on his last name? James Howard Kunstler, Jim Kunstler.
Yes.
On, and he made a point that because of I think it was, there's so many, we do 3 different shows, so I'm getting confused. Yeah, I think it was, he was the one who made the point that because of the fires and how the city failed to put them out and failed to have enough water on hand and all that, a lot of people are, have different attitudes. They're not necessarily so eager to support the Democrat establishment as they normally do. So that may be a part of it.
Well, they're failing on all fronts. The public safety, if you want to look at it from the fire standpoint, ill prepared, overwhelmed with something that was somewhat foreseeable. And then, the flip side of the coin is, the rampant homelessness and drug, abuse or drug usage in public areas. I mean, when you think about it, Jeff, all of those people, right, in that area, if they are consuming drugs, how are they getting their money? And the answer is, illegally, unless they are aggressively panhandling. But they're breaking into cars, they're shoplifting, they're committing, burglaries or petty theft or prostitution or something. But almost never is it a legal way of getting their money. And they have to get money every single day. So those areas.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption, depending on the drugs. Now, I guess if we're talking about meth and fentanyl, then we see that the results tend to be people are absolute zombies.
Right.
So that's what we're talking about. Then if you're a zombie, you can't earn money if you're a zombie, right? I mean, that's
right. But I don't think anybody's even has marijuana on the radar. I think it's strictly crack cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl heroin.
Yeah. I'm saying that because I've had a shift in my own attitude, because for many years I was very much a libertarian on all crime and punishment issues. And I always said, well, look, no matter what drug they're taking, if you're getting high, that's your own business. It shouldn't be a crime. It should be categorized as a health problem. For many years, I was adamant about that. But that was before I don't know that so much I've changed as maybe the popular drugs have changed, but maybe I've changed somewhat too.
Probably both.
And I see that it's not to just say they're just getting high with their favorite substance is not quite the best way to describe it. I mean, like I said, zombie is the word.
Well, I mean, yeah. but look at the heartache that mother that they interviewed in her car is going through.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, this doesn't just impact the users, but it impacts, their families at the same time.
So there was another news report, and I want to show it. I have a bit of an audio problem, but I'd like to show it because it shows a different perspective, and it's a perspective that I think is worth considering. But I'm going to have to crank up the audio really loud. So if you, Greg, could refrain from talking while I play this, I think this might work. And audience, please tell me in the comments if I should just stop this because you can't hear it at all. I'm not sure it's going to work, but let's give it a shot. Hang on one second. I have to share the screen. All right, let's give this a shot.
Abigail.
Well, Mark, federal agents say this is all part of a push to clean up MacArthur Park ahead of the World Cup and the 2028 Olympics. But we spoke with some small business owners tonight who say they support getting drugs off the streets, but tonight they feel like collateral damage.
It hurts so much that they did this because I have nothing to do with what they're looking for.
Cleanup is underway Wednesday night inside this small MacArthur Park business after federal agents tore through the store during a massive DEA operation.
MacArthur Park has been the backdrop to open-air drug markets, violent crimes, and theft.
This was the scene Wednesday. Dozens of DEA agents, many in tactical gear, flooding the streets and carrying out search warrants as part of what the DOJ is calling Operation Free MacArthur Park. Araceli Lopez was served one of those warrants.
They broke the door. They forced it open. They broke my display cases and threw out all my merchandise. I don't know what they're looking for because they didn't find drugs here. They didn't find what they were after.
But they found it elsewhere. The DEA, working alongside the LAPD, served 25 arrest warrants and raided 8 locations, including 6 businesses along this corridor that investigators say were being used to move drugs. Authorities say one of the biggest finds came inside a Calabasas home where they found about 40 pounds of fentanyl worth an estimated $10 million on the street. The DEA says that's enough to kill nearly 190,000 people. But for Araceli, the day ended with thousands of dollars in damage and no arrests or drugs found inside her business. Even though she's glad drugs are being taken off the streets, she says open-air drug dealing happening in the park has nothing to do with the legal stores operating along these streets.
I started crying, seeing what they did, because it's unjust what they've done. I was just selling to earn my living, pay my rent, and eat.
18 people were arrested in today's operation, and federal agents say they're still looking for 7 more suspects. Those people arrested are expected to be in court as early as tomorrow. Federal agents warn this operation is far from over. Reporting live in downtown LA, Abigail Velez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Okay, hang on a second. So yeah, Somerville John, I see you're asking if this is a big story in LA. Yeah, it is. And I think one of the reasons I'm interested in it, other than what I said before, is because it could portend similar operations in other cities, because a lot of the urban centers around America have been taken over by zombies. So, I mean, I can't imagine why, from the federal government's point of view, that they would care about only LA. So this was, in case, I think they said it in the report, it was a joint operation between DEA agents and LAPD.
Yeah, DEA very seldom operates in a bubble. It's almost always a joint operation of some sort.
Yeah. Now, I don't think, I mean, it's possible either one of the two news stations whose clips we showed have a bias. I'm not saying I know for sure they don't, but I'm not accusing them of being biased, because I think, the first one that we saw in the opening, they had a woman who was sobbing about, or not sobbing, but, upset about her daughter's addiction.
Mm-hmm.
So that sways your emotions in one direction. This report sways them in the other direction because it shows you how an innocent business owner got hurt by it. I think probably in both cases, the news stations just tried to find whoever they could find to get a human story out of it. And that's the only explanation, probably.
But please note, Jeff, that they served a search warrant on her business. So apparently they were able to convince a prosecutor and a judge that there was sufficient probable cause that there were narcotics either being, kept in her store or being retrieved from her store during the day.
Yeah. So on the surface, I wouldn't blame the cops at all, although it's possible, based on exactly how they behaved, that one might think, oh, they shouldn't have done this, they shouldn't have done that. But just the very idea of doing it does not seem objectionable for the reason you said. However, it does bring up an issue that concerns me, and I want to ask you about this, and I wonder if you have any experience with it. Let's say the police and the DEA are not at fault for damaging the businesses. They had a legitimate reason. Fair enough. But on the other hand, if the business is innocent and they suffered all this damage, they should be compensated for it. So I'm assuming this is not the first time something like this has ever happened, and there must be some kind of a procedure in place for people who are innocent and who get their property damaged by police to get compensated. Can you tell me how that's normally handled?
It depends on the size of the agency. Obviously the bigger, like a New York City Police Department or a state, if it was the state police operation, or if it's something like New York City, they usually have a division that addresses complaints or grievances about property damage that's done during the course of a police operation. Now, some of them are going to be dismissed on their face because they're going to say, well, yes, your property was damaged, and yes, we found narcotics or the person we were looking for in your business or your home. But in the instances when appears to be nothing illegal that was taking place, they usually are able to come to some sort of a resolution and cut them a check for to compensate them for the damage.
Right, but the question is, how are they made aware of it? I would think, and I'm wondering if you have ever been involved in anything like this. To me, the appropriate thing to do would be for the police on the scene to immediately let them know about what the process is. And I would hope that the city in advance makes it a priority to make it easy and not make people jump through hoops. Does that make sense?
I know when we were working with the FBI Fugitive Task Force, on occasion, a door would be breached, and the landlord would show up and say, this is going to cost me, several $100s to repair at least. What am I supposed to do? This isn't my fault. And oftentimes one of the agents would give them a business card and say, call the number here and explain what's going on. And they're going to connect you with the legal advisor or whatever. And they will, provide you with the forms to fill out or whatever it is that starts the process of requesting reimbursement for the damage.
And is the policy in general to reimburse people for whatever the actual value of the damage is, or do they do it for a little less, a little more, or what?
Usually they're going to ask them to submit an invoice for the repair work. And as long as it's not unreasonable or inflated, they will cut them a check. Most often
for the actual cost. They don't give them extra money for the emotional duress or anything like that.
No, if they're going to look for that, then they're going to have to hire an attorney and file some sort of a civil claim.
Right. All right. Thanks. Now, Stefan says that he's inclined to believe you. I don't know if he's referring to something in general or just sort of like an all-encompassing belief that Greg is always right, no matter what he says. What's that?
I appreciate his support.
Yeah. What he's saying is the other guy is not so credible, I think.
It doesn't have to be binary. We could both be credible.
It's conceivable, but I'm not getting that message so far. But anyway.
Jeff, here's the thing I'm curious about, and I don't know why this is never really addressed. It seems like, again, there's this door number one or door number two approach to the drug addiction issue, where you arrest the people and they go through the court system and then possibly are incarcerated, or they're released with this idea they're going to engage in some sort of a drug treatment program, but it tends to be voluntary and usually not successful because of the addiction process. They gravitate back toward what they were doing, and I'm wondering if there can't be some sort of a middle ground where they are not a halfway house where you can just walk out, but I mean some sort of I guess it'd be like a minimum security setting where you can't leave, and you have to attend addiction classes or whatever the counseling treatment is, but it's not optional and it's not voluntary. And the court can set it, whatever it is, a 30-day program, a 60-day program. If you relapse, then make it a 90-day program. I mean, whatever it entails, something that would be obviously cheaper and less harsh than prison, but at the same time not.
But can you explain why what you're describing would be less expensive than prison? It doesn't. I'm not hearing why it would, because you have to pay for the physical facilities. You have to pay for the staff. You have to pay for the food. You have to pay for the medical treatment. How is that cheaper?
Well, it should be cheaper because the inmates are not inherently, let's say, violent, dangerous criminals. They're people with legitimate addiction issues. So you wouldn't need.
So you're saving money on not having less guards. Is that what you're saying?
Well, less guards and probably, less guards and less security. I mean, you don't have to have triple redundancy on every door that they go through. You're not going to have cameras.
Well, that sounds like a very long-term thing because you would have additional expenses to create these facilities that don't currently exist. Right? Yeah.
True. Right. But at the same time, you may be reducing some of the prison population, so you can, save some of the money on the inmate population and apply it to whatever you want to dub these involuntary camps, I guess. I mean, camp is not a good word. That's an ugly word. But
are they doing anything like this in prisons already? In other words, instead of treating them like just every other prisoner, do they have any kind of like mandatory? You're saying mandatory classes? Is that
yes? Yeah.
Do they have that already in prison?
And education and that type of a thing. Yeah, they do have them in prisons. But I was just thinking if there was some sort of in between where it's not a halfway house where you can just walk out during the day and then come back at night, but it's also not a 24/7.
Right. Well, do you have any extra space at Shea Dillon?
Whew. Now living close here, I'm quite comfortable right by myself.
All right, just a thought. You want to take a look at some videos and pontificate? Do a little pontification?
Yes.
All right. Hold on, Stefan needs therapy. Why are you so harsh with me, Jeff?
Show him a little love, Jeff.
Greg, did I say anything tonight that a reasonable person would consider as a harsh comment to Stefan? Anything, even close? Or is this residual hurt? Are you talking about previously I was harsh, or do you feel I was harsh tonight? That's true. I have said that. So I guess this is a residual pain. I would like to extend to you at this time, Stefan, I would like to extend to you a virtual hug. I love you, Stefan, as I do all our regular audience members, maybe even some of the irregular ones. Uh-oh, here we go. All right. I don't know if the rest of the audience, the rest of the audience soon may be collectively saying, get a room, you two, get a room. All right, Stefan. Peace, love, and latte. Let's look at some videos and pontificate. Give us a call, Stefan, on the phone. We can work it out on the phone. I think I already flashed the number, but here it is again. And that goes for anybody else who does not need a virtual hug. Feel free to give us a call. But let's look at some videos, shall we? Now, let's see. The first one, I'm sure you're quite familiar with hit-and-run situations. You've probably been involved in hit-and-run situations yourself. But have you ever, notice how the emphasis in my voice, have you ever seen or heard about a driver intentionally trying to hit a child with his or her car?
No.
You think I'm jesting?
No. In fact, I think I know what you're talking about.
Oh, you saw this already?
I did.
All right, let's take a look at it together. This is a woman intentionally trying to hit a child with her vehicle, which is a deadly weapon, right? That's not hyperbole.
If used in that capacity, yes.
Oh yeah, right. When I go to the supermarket to buy a new bottle of wine,
right,
then
you're not driving your deadly weapon. You're just driving.
Yeah. Maybe the bottle of wine is if I crack it over somebody's head. All right, let's watch it.
A driver in Spokane, Washington is now accused of trying to run over a kid on a bike. And we want to warn you, the video you're about to see is pretty disturbing, but you can actually see the woman driving on the sidewalk after the child. The neighbor who shot the video telling ABC News that the driver had been honking and screaming before the boy even showed up. The witness says that neighbors sprang into action, pulling the boy to safety, and then called 911. Fortunately, he wasn't hurt. The sheriff's office did say that the driver is now being charged with assault, trespassing, and yes, DUI.
It seems to me that at least one charge is missing, and that would be attempted murder. Shouldn't something like that be included? Why just DUI? DUI is like if your car is swerving. Yeah. But if you're trying to run over a kid, shouldn't the charge be a little bit more?
I don't understand.
What? What's that?
I said there's a charge there that I don't understand.
Which one?
The assault.
What do you mean?
Well, where's the physical injury?
Well, didn't we learn when we were, and I thought you would know this already, but I learned when we were discussing the Minneapolis incidents that battery is the physical contact, but assault doesn't have to include a physical contact. Isn't that what we talked about with our various expert guests? Like when, was it, I don't know if it was Alex Preddy or the other one, I forgot their name. The one who put his face, when he went face to face with the mace situation, right? And wasn't it Andrew Branca who told us even if he didn't make contact with him, it would be assault? No? And if not, what's the difference between assault and battery? I thought that is the difference.
Well, I mean, I could see a charge of attempted assault.
No, but the attempt to commit battery is assault. If you're disagreeing, tell me what the difference is between assault and battery.
Well, in all my years here in Connecticut, if you don't have some sort of physical injury, you don't have any assault. You can have an attempt assault, an attempt to commit assault, where I swing at you and I miss.
All right.
But
I hope you don't think I'm being too sassy because you're the expert and I'm the.
I don't see the jump. Legally I can't see the jump if you.
But you still haven't said what battery is as compared to assault.
Well, we don't really have battery in Connecticut. There's no statute that I'm aware of that has the word battery in the charge. It's
Connecticut is weird. Connecticut is weird. Look who the elected representatives are. They're Rose DeLauro, the woman with the purple hair. What's his name? The 80-year-old guy that used to be the attorney general. Richard Blumenthal. And who's the other asshole? Christopher Murphy. See, there's something very wrong with Connecticut, and I say that as somebody who's
absolutely, and I am looking for my opportunity to bail out of here.
All right. So aside from this issue of, is this Is this a new? Not that I know of, Stefan. I thought that this was what I learned. Like I said, when we were dealing with the Minneapolis shootings. All right, we can do a little investigation after the show.
I mean, when I saw the behavior, I'm thinking, well, reckless operation, number one, and you can also add on Stefan.
Greg is always right. He's saying, ask anybody on the street. How would you mind if I asked the legal expert instead? And Stefan, how about if you answer my question, since Greg hasn't? If I'm wrong, what is battery as compared to assault? Thank you.
We'll have to delve into that.
Well, that's what Greg is saying, and I'm saying no, I don't think so. I think you don't have to have actual contact. The battery is the contact.
Well, the attempt to commit assault is.
Now we're repeating ourselves.
The lack of contact.
All right. I'm tempted to see if I can get one of our lawyer friends on the phone. But anyway,
was it call a friend kind of a thing?
Somerville John got a little word play there for us. All right. Aside from that issue, how do you feel about my assertion that maybe it should be attempted murder? There's the word attempted. You wanted the word attempt. I'll give it to you there.
I think that's a stretch.
Well, what should it be? What do you mean? Why is it a stretch if you're trying to hit somebody with a car?
Well, I mean, he's going to claim I was trying to scare him with my car. I wasn't trying to actually run him over. If I wanted to run him over, I would have gone twice as fast as I was going.
Okay. There you have it.
Yeah.
I'm going to be.
That's a high bar to pass to charge someone with attempted murder. I mean, I think you have to go a little bit beyond what we just saw for that charge.
You don't even want assault. You want just attempted assault.
Yeah, attempted assault, reckless operation, driving under the influence, criminal mischief for driving over people's lawn. They want to go with the trespass charge, which I think is, again, a little bizarre, but she's on a public sidewalk.
I thought trespassing, you have to be told by the property owner that you're not welcome first, right? Maybe one of the neighbors was yelling out the window, get off my lawn.
You're leaving tire marks.
All right. So we've screened various police chases before and talked about the danger and the different ways that the police use to stop people. They're throwing spikes on the ground, and there was some other, I don't know, throwing a net or something.
There's a grappler. There's this thing I just saw.
Yeah, the grappler, right? The grappler, right?
Is quite interesting, but it's it's very specific circumstances.
All right. Well, here's a whole new contraption. I don't know if you've seen or heard about this. This is very cool. Watch this.
In this video, you can see an adhesive GPS tag launched from a law enforcement vehicle and attached to a fleeing suspect's car.
It will adhere to the vehicle that we're pursuing, and then with this, our dispatch and the deputy can track where this vehicle is going.
The newly implemented technology at the Suffolk Sheriff's Department is meant to protect the officers and the public during a high-risk chase.
They can deploy it from their vehicle. The pursuit can then stop if the person does not pull over, because we will ultimately know where they're at through GPS technology.
It can be deployed by the sheriff's deputies from inside or outside of their car using a remote.
Some people wait for us to exit our vehicles before they flee. So being able to shoot a GPS at the car gives us some help when they're gaining ground on us.
This technology will allow us to do it in the most safest manner possible.
All right, before we comment on this, I have a message for every. I have a message for. Hold on, I'm trying to do three things at once. I have a message for everybody, but especially my good friend Greg and my lover Stefan. I just did a quick AI thing. Difference between assault versus battery. I read to you. And AI, of course, It's not as reliable as the guy on the street that Stefan wanted me to ask, but AI simply collects all the expertise on the internet. Here's what it says. The primary difference between assault and battery is physical contact. Assault is the threat or attempt of violence that creates fear of harm, while battery is the actual intentional and unlawful physical contact or striking of another person. My question to you is, have you ever heard anybody be more right than I was this evening when we discussed this? Could I have hit the nail on the head any more accurately?
Not in Connecticut, but it sounds like in general, it sounds like you were correct. But I would defy you to find a single criminal charge in the penal code in Connecticut that is titled battery.
All right. Well, you didn't mention that when we were talking about the Minneapolis situation.
I did
and
not.
Stefan lives in New York, so I don't know what his excuse is. But anyway, there you have it. So since it wasn't in Connecticut, you're okay with the charge now?
I'm very parochial here.
All right. So getting back to this video, what do you think about that contraption? That's pretty cool, huh?
I believe that the New Haven Police Department is actually utilizing that technology now.
Yeah. Now, it's not perfect because, well, one thing I'm very curious about is how reliable is it to stick to the vehicle when you launch it? Like, does it have to land perfectly, or is it pretty much, because I'm just imagining, the bumper's at an angle and, it's got to fly through the air, and I don't know.
If you could stop the frame, it looked like it was almost like a ball of glue. Like as I'm holding this up, it looked like the whole front of it had an adhesive on it. So it probably has a pretty high probability of attaching with that.
Is that the part you want to say?
Yeah.
So say that again.
Well, I mean, it seems like the whole front of it is nothing but adhesive. So even maybe at a bad angle, it looks like there's enough there for it to stick.
Okay. So that answers that. And even if, it's not perfect, it still looks like it's a great advancement. But the other thing I'm thinking about is, they're saying, hey, they can catch the guy later instead of endangering people. But what if somebody knows about this thing and they go to the back of their car and they just simply remove it? Or do you think it's on so, it's in such a way that it can't be removed? Is that possible? You know what I mean?
I just suspect that they're relying on the fact that people aren't going to be aware that it's attached to their car.
Yeah, because they never watch the news like we do.
Right. I guess there could be a criminal savvy enough to quickly pull over and look. But, as they're getting out to pull over and look for it, now they've increased their chances of somebody driving up on them. So it's a trade-off, but I think it's certainly another tool in the toolbox that helps helps end these chases without any more danger to the public than necessary.
Okay. In Connecticut, assault and battery are not separate criminal charges. Instead, both are prosecuted under the state's comprehensive assault statutes. Assault covers both threats of violence and actual physical contact. Is that what you said?
I'd like to think that covered what I said. Yeah.
Okay, let's take that position.
So the only reason I'm saying is that you can have assault one, you can have assault, and you can have attempted assault one, but I've never ever seen, and I don't believe there's an attempted battery or battery in the first degree or anything. It's always going to be in Connecticut. It's always going to be an assault, and then the degree or the attempt will determine the severity of whether it's a felony or a misdemeanor. But I still have yet to see anybody ever charged criminally with battery.
All right. Another type of incident that we have screened previously on this show is when a bunch of, what's the word I'm looking for? A bunch of troublemakers decide.
Miscreants.
Yeah, so but that's a better word. Oh, that's excellent. You are a writer. Speaking of which, if you don't already own Greg's book, What is Wrong with You? Get it. It is a fascinating tale.
Audiobook, ebook, soft cover, hardcover.
Everything. What about skywriting? Smoke signals. Can people read it? You can get it at ustourofduty.org, by the way, our website. It's up there the whole time. So keep that in mind, please. Yeah, we have previously talked about miscreants who take over the road. And we showed, I think it was in the San Francisco Bay Area, some great police work. Remember that one from a few weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
And here's another one also in that area. I guess there's something about the police departments up there where they make it a priority to deal with this stuff. And this one's a little bit different. Let's take a look.
This is how the Bay Bridge takeover started, and this is how it ended. On May 3rd, 2026, at around 5:45 p.m., chaos erupted on the San Francisco Bay Bridge as hundreds of bikers shut down the roads to perform illegal stunts and reckless maneuvers. Luckily for officers, they already had intel of the operation as they monitored them through the sky and managed to box them in. Riders were confused on what to do as they drive in circles. Some ditched their bikes and took off running in every direction, but police were already on them. One suspect hopped over a barrier, and another even jumped into the water below trying to escape. But at the end, authorities arrested 9 people and seized over 70 dirt bikes and ATVs during the operation. Do you think police handled this takeover the right way? Comment down below.
Is that like this particular incident of them mowing over those bicycles, or they just took something that seemed related? And I don't know.
That seemed to be like maybe a little bit of an add-on at the end to make it even more entertaining. Yeah. But I could not love that video anymore.
I know. Why though? What is it that makes you so thrilled? This was usually I find the videos. This is one Greg found. What is it about this that thrills you?
Because we've hit the tipping point of people's tolerance for illegal behavior. And, you know, way back when I was in patrol, on occasion, somebody would have the audacity to try to drive their dirt bike on a public road. And the response would be aggressive. I mean, we would do whatever we could to try to either box that person in or knock them off their bike or something. But I mean, it wasn't just blown off as saying, well, what do you expect us to do about it? Right. And now, fast forward, I think 2 years ago, I was at the Branford Sidewalk Book Festival. And after it was over, a couple of the authors and I sat at an outside cafe. And all of a sudden we hear this, tremendous roar and we're trying to figure out where it's coming from. And we didn't know if it was a plane going by. And next thing you know, like 50 to 75 dirt bikes and ATVs just go down the middle of Main Street, Branford. And, I'm sure my mouth was wide open because I never thought I would ever see something like that taking place. In I don't want to call it my town. I don't live there any longer, but in Branford. And, obviously unchecked, it only gets worse. I mean, it's that broken windows theory that once you start to tolerate illegal behavior, it encourages more of the illegal behavior to the point where it gets completely out of control, which is what you saw, in the clips. Right.
So are you saying something similar to what I was saying earlier, that there may be a sea change going on now? People are finally, especially in California, where there's a lot of room for change, are finally getting fed up. You think so? The mayor, the mayor of San Francisco has a very high approval rating.
Okay. Right. Yeah. No, I think so. And I certainly hope so. I hope that's the trend that we're going to follow for the next couple of years, to see if we can't reverse this this swing where everything is tolerated and nothing is beyond the pale any longer.
Right. So I'm going to make a guess. Tell me if I'm thinking like a cop or not.
Okay.
my assumption is, even though this is very annoying, we both agree, if anybody were to be convicted for whatever the charge is, it probably wouldn't result in the world's most severe punishment.
No.
Yet, these miscreants were very scared, so much so that they're jumping into the water. So I'm going to guess that some of these people already have records and are wanted for various crimes. And I can't think of any other reason why they would be jumping into the water and scattering and leaving their bikes behind and so worried about being caught for something like this. What do you think?
Couple of different things in play here. Some of them have outstanding arrest warrants.
Right.
Some of them are currently on probation or parole. Some of them are carrying either a weapon or contraband.
Right.
Some of them are driving under suspended licenses, and if they get caught, then the suspension is going to double or triple. And many of those bikes and ATVs are stolen.
Wow, you just rattled off a long list.
And it doesn't have to be A, B, C, or D. It could be multiple of each.
Right. But the point is they probably had some situation going on, because otherwise, why would they be so panicked?
Correct. You just take your ticket and walk home.
All right. So let's see. I know a lot of you ladies out there are attracted to dangerous guys.
The bad boys.
Yes, bad boys. And sometimes I wear my leather jacket and I feel a little bit dangerous, and I project this aura.
You gotta get something other than a white leather jacket, or else it doesn't work.
White? No, it's black. The one I have.
Okay.
How dare you? How dare you?
How dare you?
All right, I was a little slow on that one.
That's okay. It worked.
All right, so here is where maybe I'm saying to the ladies, you shouldn't be so eager to hang out with dangerous guys, because sometimes it may go a little bit too far.
On November 11th, 2018, Washington County Corporal Brett Thompson ended up in a bizarre situation when he tried to pull over a green Saturn for a traffic violation. The driver wouldn't stop, slowing down briefly before speeding up again, almost like he was toying with the officer. After a few tense minutes, the vehicle finally stopped, but not for the reason Thompson had hoped.
Shots fired! Shots fired! Jesus! Shots fired, County.
Just talk amongst yourself. This goes on for a while.
Wow.
After driving off, the suspect stopped about 150 feet away to let a female passenger out, then took off again. The officer, who hadn't even realized she was in the car this whole time, later found out she was the suspect's girlfriend.
I got a white female just got out. She's walking southbound off the Steel. Come here! Get your hands up, too! Why'd he pull a gun on me? The hell is he doing? Get on your knees. All right, put that down. Do you have any weapons on you? I don't have anything on me. All right, I'm going to put you in handcuffs because I don't know what I'm dealing with. Are you hit? Are you okay?
I'm just really scared and shaken up.
Miraculously, no one was injured during this 53-second-long shootout. The suspect, later identified as 29-year-old Luis Cobos Zenobio, soon got into another shootout with the police and was arrested. While awaiting trial in the Washington County Detention Center, he was killed by his cellmate.
I like that part.
You like that part. I'll tell you what I admire about
Jeff,
that
I love it.
cop.
I love a story with a happy ending.
Oh, God. I admire the cop who was in a shootout, which I can only imagine is extremely scary and gets the heart pounding. And you're very agitated. But he very quickly became kind of compassionate with the girlfriend. He explained to her why he's putting her in handcuffs, and he said, "Are you okay?" and blah blah blah. So I like that.
Well, I think he picked up on her terror and probably.
Right, yeah. But still, it's a quick adjustment for him to make.
Oh, sure, yeah. No,
you ever been involved in anything like that?
I'm sorry?
You ever been involved in anything like that?
No, I mean, we've been involved in pursuits where the passengers were terrified and begging the driver to pull over, but nothing that ended in gunfire, thank God, no.
Right. Did that look like an attempted suicide by cop?
Nah, he was too aggressive on that one. If he wanted to, he could have put himself
right. He drove away,
and then also he got involved in a second shootout after that. So I would say maybe not on this one.
All right, ladies. So be careful with these men. For example, Greg he's a very nice gentleman. Somebody like Greg would be much more appropriate. All right, let's take a look. You want to see some more shooting? You like the shooting. Gets the adrenaline going.
That's
Let me
exciting.
see. Car chase. Where am I? Hold on. There it is.
At officers right now.
A wild chase on the streets and highways in and around Los Angeles.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my gosh, he was shooting his gun!
A murder suspect hanging outside of the window of the car he was riding in, firing back at officers in hot pursuit.
There he is, shooting at officers right there. Shots fired, shots fired.
The passenger, who was wanted for questioning in the fatal shooting of a convenience store employee, opening fire as a Toyota Prius raced at high speed, trying to get away.
Guys, this is very dangerous here. Here we go. He's pointing a gun, shooting randomly.
Drivers caught in the crossfire. Thankfully, none of them seriously hurt. Finally, the car got stuck behind a truck with the shooter and the female driver both struck by gunfire.
Officers are shooting at that vehicle right now. Wow. Suspect is hit. Suspect is down. Suspect is down.
This is one that you're not going to let go. He has to be stopped. He's in immediate danger.
Is that newscaster like a former cop, the way she's talking? Suspect is down. Suspect is down.
Maybe. Sometimes they do transition to that second career.
So I guess you would characterize that also as a happy ending.
Yes.
Understand. I mean, I'm not happy, but it's understandable. They've got to in a situation like that, right? Because everybody's in danger.
Yeah. Questionable. Well, certainly somebody with poor judgment because, number one, that's not a great career choice. And number two, a Toyota Prius for your high-speed pursuit car is not probably the best idea.
All right. Now, I don't want to be sexist, but we just saw an example of a male firing willy-nilly all over the place. I'm not sure if this next video reflects negatively on females or positively.
I think a little bit of both.
Oh, you know this one too?
I think I do.
Jesus, you must be telepathic. So here is a woman who went into I guess it's a convenience store to rob it, and things didn't go as you might imagine.
This is a robbery. Okay.
Sit down.
Okay. There's a robbery.
Down.
I'm telling you right now. There's a robbery.
What robbery? Oh my!
Whoa!
What are you doing?
What?
What are you doing? The owner in the back room.
The robbery.
Yeah, the owner in the back room. The owner in the back room, run!
I'm trying to figure out. Oh, hold on. She walked to another part of the store? Is this?
This is the back room.
It is? I'm trying to figure out what he meant by the owner in the back room. The owner in the back room, run. I would have been confused if I were doing this hold up. I was like, huh? What does that mean? Do you attach any meaning? Do you attach any meaning to this?
Very domineering husband or something, because when he told her to put the gun down, she did, which I thought was hysterical.
Yeah. All right, so you don't have any idea what he meant by that either. I thought
I think what he meant was like, the owner is the guy who can give you the money, and it's not me. So go to the back room and deal with him.
Oh, all right. Then one thought I had was, well, maybe he was in the back room and she's shooting and might kill him or something, and he doesn't want that to happen.
No.
But then he says, "Run,"
and she ran to the back room, and that's where you see the next frame.
I thought he meant like escape.
Oh no!
Run to the back room. You're bullshitting me, God. That makes no sense.
Well, it didn't make any sense for her to take the hood off at some point too.
Right. See, chicks just can't handle guy stuff. Yeah, I'm kidding. I love you, women. I love you. All right. That was a weird one.
That was. I was waiting for her to actually shoot like the camera off of the wall that she was pointing the gun at.
You mean intentionally?
Yeah, I mean, she was lining it up very, very. It looked accurately. I thought she was going to try to take the camera right off the wall with a one shot.
All right, Helen has a couple of questions.
Okay.
This is for you, Greg. How has your experience differed when dealing with foreigners?
So, most of the foreigners arrived at the tail end of my career, but there is some cultural uniqueness depending on the country. And I think I told you one time about the two Iranian cab drivers that had a blood dispute going back to the old days when they were both living outside the United States, and they continued the feud right into present day and met at a isolated location and fought it out. And then one produced a knife and stabbed the other one across the scalp and face and neck, and didn't kill him, but not for lack of trying. And that was a cultural thing. I mean, they had whatever sort of a blood feud going back from the old country, and it carried over. But I mean, I think it varies greatly from whatever the country is. So
that
I don't
may be
know
true.
if there's any.
Both may be true.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any hard and fast answer. I think it's very unique to whatever culture or country that they come from.
All right. Here's another question from Helen. Why is it accepted that people with law charges are accepted? Not the best syntax, Helen, but maybe we can figure out what Helen means. Instead of implementing punishment to correct behavior? What is that?
Instead of implementing punishment to correct behavior. You may want to rewrite that first sentence, maybe, or second sentence.
Yeah. Greg is a writer, Helen. He's not accustomed to this mishmash of words and non sequiturs. I think she might be asking why people get these charges and then they're never really severely punished for it, maybe. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
Reword it, Helen, please, and then we'll address it. All right, we have one more video, then we'll come back, and if Helen has reworded her question, we can deal with it then. This one is kind of long. I'm not really sure how long to play it. You can kind of figure it out with me as we go along. I want to play for at least a little while because that's part of what's unusual about it, is the way this woman was carrying on and the way the cop, in my opinion, was more patient with her than she deserved. If, in fact, the words stubborn and entitled come rushing to mind, I think if you were to look them up in the dictionary, you might see a photograph of this woman.
May I have a deputy? Huh? You have a deputy. I'm standing in front of you. Step out of the vehicle.
For sure.
Do you have your information?
I don't need to give it to you.
Yes, you do. Why would you not?
Because I came after you and you came to make a...
Okay, step to the front of my car.
I could.
No, you will.
I could.
Go. To the front of my car.
Now you're
Go.
Now you're making me uncomfortable.
That's fine. Go to the front of my car.
I can't do that, sir.
Yes, you can.
Officer, you're putting your hands on me. Officer, you're putting your hands on me.
Sit right there.
You're a male.
Sit right
You're a male. I'm a
Sit
female.
right there.
You're a female. I'm a female. You're a male.
How do you know?
I'm a female.
How do you know what I identify as?
Exactly, but Trump
42694.
That is.
Sit down.
You're making me uncomfortable.
Sit. I don't care. Sit down.
No.
Where's your identification? Where's your driver's license, registration, and your proof of insurance?
No.
You've made this so much more difficult than it needs to be.
Because you came in a U-turn in front of me, and you came after me and turned around.
I turned around because you committed a violation of Florida state statute. It does not matter if it is a yellow light.
Yes, it is.
I have explained to you why you were pulled over. I want your driver's license, registration.
And then you just put your hands on me.
I did put my hands on you because you're refusing to give me your information, and I'm not going to allow you to sit in that car.
I'm not, officer.
You don't operate this. I'm in charge. Do you understand me?
Still complying, officer.
Not really.
Because you
then how are you complying? I did.
You put your hands on me.
I did because you
take my
failed
shirt
to
off?
follow a
No,
lawful
I can take
order.
my shirt off as a woman. You need to identify as a male. I'm a female, and you just put your hands on me.
I did because you are failing to
I did not.
produce your identification.
I did not, officer. I did not, officer.
Okay.
You just put your hands on me.
When I asked you,
officer,
driver's
you
license,
put your
registration,
hands on
proof
me.
of insurance.
No.
Where's your driver's license?
You put your hands on me.
Where's your driver's
You
license?
put your hands on me.
Where is your
You
driver's
put your
license?
hands on me.
Where is your driver's license?
Your hands on me.
This could go on forever, Jeff.
Yeah,
thank
right.
you, finally.
You put your hands on me.
Ma'am,
You
you're
put
being
your hands on
detained.
me. No, you put your hands on me. What are you doing?
You're being detained.
You put your hands on me. Officer, you put your hands on me. What are you doing?
If you do not comply, I'm going to put you on the ground.
I've been complying.
I'm going to put you on the ground.
You didn't
Turn
even tell
around.
me what you pulled me
Turn
out of the
around
car.
and put your hands behind your
Putting
back.
your hands on me.
Turn around and put your hands
Officer,
behind your
I
back.
literally have seizures, and you're
Turn
putting your
around
hands.
and put your hands.
Officer,
As we all-
no, you're
as-
putting your hands on me.
As we all know, the
Officer,
law
you're putting
does not
your hands on
apply
me.
to females if there are no female officers on the
Officer,
Turn
scene.
around
You're
and
putting
put your hands
on me. You're
behind your
making me
back.
uncomfortable.
Turn around and put your hands behind your
You're
back.
making me uncomfortable.
You're making me uncomfortable. The job of the police officers is to make women feel comfortable. Don't you know that, Greg?
Officer, you're hurting
Boy, this
me.
guy has to go back for some training or retraining.
I did.
What should he have done? Just put her in handcuffs immediately?
Here's the thing, Jeff. I learned early
So
on,
finally some other cops show up to help.
thank God, because this guy is not well suited for this job.
What should he have done?
I learned early on from people with more experience than me that do not give an order that you are not legally entitled to enforce. And if you give an ultimatum and they do not comply, then you go to the next level. But you cannot get into this infinity loop of give me your license, you're making me uncomfortable, give me your license, I'm a woman, give me your license. I mean, that's just gives them power. You are empowering resistance when you keep doing that.
She's still going on talking about being touched and she can't breathe. And
She's reading off the menu. I want a supervisor. You make me feel uncomfortable. The whole thing. Yeah.
so what should he have done? Just put her in handcuffs sooner?
Well, I mean, depending on what he's allowed to do legally in that state, but usually...
Well, he's not in Connecticut, so you can forget about that.
Yeah, no. But usually, I mean, you have the lawful authority. If you fear for your safety or you feel something overly suspicious, you can ask the person to exit the vehicle for their safety and your safety. And once they refuse to provide a license, and they've made it clear that they're not going to comply, well, then you can take them into custody.
Well, that's what I was saying. Put her in handcuffs. Yeah.
Correct. But I mean, you
I
can't
can't stand
negotiate-
this woman. I can't stand her. I would have had about
you can't
5% as much
negotiate
patience
somebody
as him.
into handcuffs. You at some point, once it gets physical, you have to overcome their resistance with the amount of force necessary to effect the arrest. And if it means pulling her to the ground and kneeling on her, then you have to do that. But
Well, it escalates because then they see that she's got an empty beer bottle, and then they're talking about smelling it on her breath. I didn't even watch the end of this. Maybe I'll just keep talking to you. I don't know how far we want to get with it, but
Hey, Miranda, I got a question for you, okay?
He asked her if she'll take a field sobriety test, and that's as far as I got when I was ready to shoot myself in the head.
Oh my
I
goodness.
couldn't. I just can't take her. She was so annoying.
Well, and the only one that is slightly less annoying is the officer that let it get this far.
Yeah.
She-
The only
she
thing
went-
about giving her a field sobriety test is that she'll have to get out of the car again. They have to deal with her shenanigans.
Right. I mean, the just placed her under arrest for the obvious charge of interfering with an investigation, and then when you're in a custodial setting, i.e. detention, then you can then take off the cuffs and give that field sobriety test, and then determine whether you're going to charge her with the DUI. Doesn't have to be done at the scene.
If I pass the breathalyzer right here, am I going to go free?
I'm looking at this recording. It's only about halfway through the recording now.
Wow.
I just didn't have time or the patience to watch it
Yeah.
all.
Well, it seems like they
But
got
I am
everything-
sort of curious where it goes.
No, they have everything in the reverse order. That field sobriety test should have been conducted when she was first out of the vehicle, and then put her in handcuffs and put her in the car. But everyone does things differently, I guess. She seems quite composed for somebody that was afraid to be touched.
She seems to be detached from reality, though. She's going, "Oh, I was compliant. I was compliant." Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
You're right.
But she said, she's like 20 times, "You're touching
Right.
me. Don't touch me.
Right.
I'm a female."
And I'm not giving you my license or registration either.
Yeah. Her concept of compliance is quite novel.
Well, this is why, it goes back to, I love the fact that now we have the body cameras.
Yeah.
If you try to convey this.
Yeah, that must look, the judge must stifle a laugh when they go to court, and
Right.
and she's like telling one story, and then you just show the video. It's like,
Right. But in the past, you were forced to try to document this in a written report to convey the level of noncompliance. And, it's a challenge to be able to convey the level of resistance that you were getting from this particular person. So the video is perfect.
so should they just slam the door shut and take her to jail, or is there some potential value in letting her yap on and on, because maybe it could be used as evidence? Which is it? You know what I mean?
Well, that is true, but the thing is, I can't understand why anyone would consider taking her out of the car and taking the handcuffs off her for a field sobriety test at this point in time. That ship has sailed.
Yeah.
It can be done at the lockup, but it certainly shouldn't be done at roadside.
There's just way too much negotiating going on with this nutcase.
You're under arrest for DUI.
Yes, I agree.
You're under arrest for DUI. Slams the door shut. Oh, sorry.
You're under arrest for DUI. Thank you.
Hello. Yes. Can I please get my sobriety test, please?
Can I get my sobriety?
I'm gonna search you. May I get my sobriety test? Like, goddamn, I didn't do shit. What the fuck? I literally I didn't even have one beer. Y'all told me y'all were gonna give me a test.
Yeah, with
I'm
a
like,
24-ounce beer, though, is the problem.
Didn't you just?
Now she's acting like she
No,
paid for
they're
something at a
they're
store and
trying to
didn't get it.
confuse me.
I'm entitled to my test.
I'm trying to say, like, I didn't do anything wrong. Is why I'm saying no. I will take a test if I have to prove it.
Take a test in the jail.
No, I can't go to jail. I literally just went to jail for a Hurricane Milton curfew. Yeah, I need her to turn.
So this is sort of standard operating procedure, right? If you can get a female officer, they have the female do the pat down. Is that?
I might beat her spread.
So maybe that's part of the reason they were indulging her to wait for the female. Could that be?
Can I take my test?
You know,
That's not my phone.
I mean,
Can I
as
take
long
my-
as
I
you
was
have
going
you have the
out
body
front.
Whose
camera
phone is
on and you have a
this?
I have
second
no
officer
idea.
there,
So do you want me to
use
leave it
the
in the
back of your
car?
hand to go up and down, and that's
You refuse.
legal. That's
No, just asked you and you
customary.
refused.
If
That's
the
exactly what we
search is
said.
going to be a little bit more intrusive, then you want the female there, certainly.
Yes, ma'am.
426
Central. Can you notify the jail? It's gonna be a
That was tough to watch.
You're gonna ruin my life.
You're going to ruin my life.
I
Right.
didn't give me any decision.
That neck tattoo was the first step toward ruining your life.
But I didn't do it. You didn't even give me. I have the right to ask what I did wrong.
And I told you what you did.
No,
wrong.
you didn't.
I told you. I said I stopped you because you failed to stop coming out.
I did fail. I did stop.
Just
I did
say,
stop
end the
because
conversation,
the light was red
sweetheart.
before it turned yellow.
Okay. Well,
It
you
was.
stopped at that. You stopped at the red light.
The red light. Was
I think this has been going on so long. The woman in the right in the video had time to go out and adopt a cat. Did she have the cat way back when this first started?
The cat was a kitten when this first
The
started.
only car that was going straight.
We're done.
Jeff.
They're saying, oh, we're pro cop.
You're very good at arguing.
I'm not good at.
No, we don't like to
Good at
watch her
telling the
wriggle.
truth.
We just wanted her to be
So
arrested.
did you stop coming out of the
Yes,
Circle K?
I did.
No, you
I
didn't.
put that on my own life. I
Well,
could
don't do that.
I
because
put that on
got it
Jesus.
video.
I put it on God.
Don't do it because I have it on
can.
video.
You
did it.
shouldn't lie,
This
officer.
video won't lie.
Helen says, why are women police officers needed?
This video don't
Come on,
lie.
Helen, that's a question that answers itself.
It does.
They're
because
not
you're probably
required,
recording until you
but
fucking need
if
to.
the search is going to get a little more
she didn't have to
intrusive,
be
then you're better off with a female.
Yeah, preferred. That way you can at least eliminate the added complicate or the possible added complication of she was abused by the males
Right.
groping.
But the
her
body
or
cameras
whatever.
go a long way toward negating any claims of inappropriate touching.
Yeah. She was just wrong that he's not supposed to touch her. He's not supposed to touch her inappropriately, but he can touch her appropriately. All right. Well, Helen did not reword her question, so I think we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks a lot, Greg. A pleasure as always. And thanks to our beloved audience. And thanks to my new best friend, Stefan. Stefan, where are we going to share a summer home? Do you want to do Fire Island, Cape Cod, Martha's Vineyard? Your choice, Stefan.
Block Island.
Block Island. I'm open to that. I'm flexible. Stefan's choice. Stefan's choice. Will you come and visit us, Greg?
Of course.
All right. Join us tomorrow night on Ask the Inspector with our favorite weapons inspector, Scott Ritter, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Same Thursday night, 7 Eastern Time for the Whiners. And we will be back at 7 Eastern Time next Tuesday on Probable Cause. Have yourself a very good night, Greg. Love you to
Take care,
bits.
Jeff.
All right. Take care.